Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do a character guide on Braska. So he is the newest FR character to come to Global Defo, and Braska is basically a fire damage slash healing character. So he focuses a lot around fire damage, and he does have some good healing in his kit. Kind of plays in line with the storyline with him and Jecht in Final Fantasy X. So pretty cool character. In this video, we're going to talk about how he works and his playstyle. Now, here's the thing. There are people out there kind of like underselling him, and I don't think he's bad by any means. Braska actually can be quite good. Kind of the theme with characters during this era is if you really are willing to invest in a character and play the team comps right, you can get a lot out of these characters. The reason why people kind of downplay Braska is just because he's coming out before like Camlanot and Tidus, who are just like OP busted. And it doesn't mean that Braska is bad. It just means that people like he got heavily overshadowed. We'd put it that way. But if you really like Braska, you like the fire team comps, or you like the setup, I'm gonna kind of show you how to use this force gauge setup like properly, and you don't have to have a full fire setup to do it. You just have to have fire calls. So I'll show you, but if you like the Braska playstyle, that's all that really matters, and if you fully invest, he's going to look really good. Now, my Braska is not going to be fully invested. I've got force enhancements up here, so I want to start by talking about force enhancements because he is another force charging character, so you can utilize him in that way. So I'm going to talk about which passives are really important on Braska. Now, mine is only going to be force enhanced 10, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a workaround where I'm going to use other methods of charging the HP damage instead of Braska because I'm not going to have his big buffs during this. So Braska's force charging ability is his Curaga. And what you're going to notice with characters, it's a pretty common theme, that if they have like a support move that's a free turn, it's probably going to be a force charging attack. We've seen that with every character so far that has been a force HP damage gauge character, right? So obviously, like all characters, the force charge up is important. You'd want to get that to 3 at a bare minimum, which would be at 23 here. I talk about that with all the characters. But Curaga force extension at 25, and I think the first one is, where's the first one at? It might be earlier. I think it's only at like, oh, there it is. No, that's 1. Hold on. Curaga, there it is. So at 5. So I do have the first Curaga force extension, which gives 25%. HP damage bonus after using Curaga. So I'm missing the second one. So normally with Braska, you could use Curaga during force time and you'd get 50% damage bonus just from Curaga on top of whatever else you've got going on. The way Braska works, I guess I'll talk about the force part here. His 2 requirements to increase the HP damage gauge. If anybody deals fire brave damage, it goes up 20%. And then if the attacking ally is fully healed, it's another 15. So a normal Braska fully built out, you use a Curaga and it's 65% each time. So that's in line like second to Cryo for how much. Cryo's doing 73 to 75% per spam. Braska here is doing 60, but that's not counting other things that might be happening, because let's say you're spamming Curaga for 65 and then Kane's up in the air fire enchanted, which is the way I'm going to run it in this video. Kane's up in the air fire enchanted, he's going to rain down, and that's another 20%. So you're getting 85% to turn with Braska if you do that setup correctly. So we'll talk about that and do that in this video. But just to be aware that really if you're going to go in on Braska, you might as well just take it all the way to 30. The other thing to keep in mind is some of the attacks from Braska won't look nearly as strong because the attacks get heavily strengthened from the force boards here. So like I don't have this Ultima Force Extension 2 up. So his Ultima might not look super impressive to you in the video, but just know that if you invest heavier in him, all of his stuff is going to look better. So I would look more at Braska's playstyle and what he's doing rather than the raw numbers you're going to see in my video here to help decide if you want to invest in Braska or not. I would say if you've already invested in like Kane, Penelo, and Cryo, like you definitely don't need Braska. Like you got plenty of force stuff going there, and I know a lot of people are saving for Tidus and Cam. So it's going to be totally up to you. But there are some people that have held off. So if you've waited, this might be a decent first force character to pick up because once again, he can charge very well. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Braska himself here. We are hopping into, I'm just going to do the first Shinryu. I haven't actually unlocked Braska's Shinryu yet. I've been super busy with the Dokkan Battle Anniversary. So I just got it to the point where I'm like, all right, I can do the showcase. I know people want this one. So I want to get this one out quick. I will get Ignis and Jekt out as well. It might be a little bit delayed. It depends on what I can do here in these next couple of days. Before, because I'm also going to go on like a vacation again. So I have to get all the Dokkan videos done, and I want to try to get all these DFFOO videos done. So we'll see how it goes. So the team I'm going to run here is Kane, Penelo, and Braska for the showcase. Braska, let's go ahead and look at his best artifacts and spheres, and then we'll hop into that showcase, right? So for Braska, for his artifacts, basically he has a C50 passive. So you really want this Vanquisher of Sin up. That's going to give him Max Brave and Attack. And then second to that, you either want Attack 108 or Max Brave 330. So on mine, I've got 2 Attack 108s and Vanquishers, and I've got one that is a Max Brave 330 and a Vanquisher. So some mix of that, you're going to be fine. And then we're going to look at his spheres. So for spheres, you have options, but there are some that I think make a little bit more sense. So for the A slot, you want attack or brave damage because he is fairly offensive for a healer. But what you want to do is remember that he is a weakness damage character. So what Braska does is he does enchant himself with fire, and he does put fire resist down on the enemies. So he's going to be doing fire weakness damage. So you could do a weakness damage sphere. So Rydia would be a really good slot here for him. You could do just a straight up attack, or you could do a magic attack one. So what I put on was, I think Aerith is a really nice fit for Braska because it's a very heavy magic attack sphere, and it triggers when your HP is high. And Braska is kind of about keeping the party healthy. He has a lot of curing in his kit. So something that relies on you on having high HP is going to be a very safe sphere to put on Braska. So I went with Aerith there for the magic attack up. Now, on the C slot, I think for sure, like, to me, Maria's kind of the best one here in my mind. Maria or Lute are both good because they're both party attack ups, but they're after recovering HP. And with Braska, you're going to be spamming Kiraga, and it's a free turn. So you're going to be healing and then triggering this orb when you do it. So as much as I've recommended Maria or Maria or Lute for other characters, they're really good on Braska because he's a free heal spam turn character. So I think those are like really the best ones to put on there. And then the D slot, this is just a generic like party attack up. So I would just go Ash or Hope. I know I recommend them a lot, but Ash and Hope are just, and you can look, there are other D slots that also can raise party attack, but look at what you got. But I know I refined a ton of Ash and Hope because I knew I was going to use them a lot. So that's what I kind of put on there. All right, let's go ahead and let's hop into our little showcase here, and we'll do this. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in, and we're going to start talking about Braska's kit here. Do I want a specific, if I can find a friend, okay, I'm going to bring this like friend Braska, and what I might do is I might demo Braska like most of it with my character, but then I might bring in the friend one just so you can see like what a maxed out Braska looks like. I think that's a pretty good plan. Let's go ahead and do that. That way, you know, we're giving Braska the justice he deserves. And it's not that like I think Braska's bad. It's just I have limited resources, and I full invested Penelo, Cryle, and Kane, so I can't just do this every character. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead here and jump in to Braska. All right. So what we're gonna do with Kane is we'll just put Kane up in the air. Actually, I won't put Kane up in the air right. Yeah, maybe I will. Should I put Kane up in the air right away? Sure. Let's put Kane up in the air right away. I'm not like going for a clear here or anything. I just want to show off Braska, but sure, let's go ahead and just get Kane up. I'm going to do something very specific with Kane, though, before Force Time that we want to watch out for. And what I demonstrate here probably won't be perfect. Like, you guys can all figure out how to optimize it. I'm just giving you, like, the quick general idea of things you can do here, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to let Penelo, like, charge a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to let Penelo charge a little bit here. We won't go too crazy because it is going to go up pretty fast. Because I kind of want to do like a cycle with Braska before we actually go into Force Time and just show you like his general stuff, right? So we'll let Penelo just do, we'll do that, and then we'll just, sure, I'll do an LD, why not? And then what I'll do before Force Time is I'll try to put on a couple of calls. We'll bring in the friend unit. We'll do all that fun stuff. And what we'll do is we'll do the, like when we're ready to do Force Time, we will do it with the friend Braska. I think will be the plan. Okay, So Braska's skills, he's got Kiraga, he's got Ultima, he's got Ultimate Jack Shot, which is the LD. He's got the AA, which is just a generic buffing AA. So sure, let's just start with that. We'll just put the generic buffing AAs on. Kind of the way that you want to start is you're going to notice that Braska, see it has an overhead there, it just counted up to 2. It counts up to 5. And what happens is when it counts up to 5, it makes his EX and LD more powerful. And so the idea is like when you're ready to do the force gauge, you kind of want that built up to get the powerful ones. Now, I guess the tricky part about bringing the friend unit in is I'm not going to have that built up. So I might have to think about that a little bit because the friend, I don't know if the friend's going to have enough time to build that up. You know what I mean? We'll take a look. So let's go ahead and then Jet Bomber is the LD. So first we'll show off Kiraga. So Kiraga is very simple. It's basically just a free turn with a big party heal and some battery. And once again, that's like his force charging move. So that's the thing you can just spam over and over and over again, right? So what you might want to do is you could spam Kiraga a little bit. And you can get his overdrive up to 5. So the overdrive is the thing that we see above. So let's just spam it and get it up to 5. So you're doing a couple things with Kiraga with Braska. Is one, you're filling the force gauge, but you're also like getting his counters up. So you can see the counter just went up to 4. Basically, anytime Braska does an action, it's just going to count up. So what we'll do is we'll get that maxed out there. Okay. And then what's going to happen here is now the Jack Shot got upgraded and then the LD got upgraded to the plus versions, right? So let's go ahead and do the EX. So the EX is going to do fire resist down on the enemies, and it's just going to be like a really big attack, and we're going to get a free ability use on the next turn. So let's go ahead and try that. Now the way this works when he's at 5 stacks, I believe he gets to use each of them one time before it goes away. So let's see how much damage this does with the plus version. And this is like a non-maxed out Braska, right? Okay, so like 650k AoE. So that's pretty good. I imagine a more invested Braska is doing like a 1 mil AoE there. Something to that effect, right? So now we've got a free skill use, and you can see the LD still has the plus version on it. So basically, when it ticks to 5, it's going to like count back down. So we have to build it back up to 5, but you want to use the EX and LD before it counts back up to 5, because then they're going to reset and get the plus versions back. So now since Kiraga's free, I'll just hit a free Kiraga here. Okay, and once again, we're building force gauge at the same time, right? So then we've got that up. And then what we can do is we can do Jet Bomber, which is the LD. So this will be the plus version of it. So this is going to be a fire attack. It's going to put fire resist down on the enemies, and it gives him a buff. And the buff is going to be his fire enchant. That's going to make everything of his fire. And that's going to give some party buffs with it. So let's go ahead and do Jet Bomber Plus here, which this is the LD, and this is the plus version, okay? So pretty decent damage there. Once again, this isn't like a mega fully invested Braska. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're about ready to do some force time stuff. So what I want to do, yeah, the thing is I don't know, I might still bring in the friend Braska, even though we won't be getting the plus version. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Let's go ahead and let's do an intercession because it's free. So basically what I need to do is I need to get Kane back down. I'm going to set up some stuff with Kane, and then we're going to bring it back to Braska's turn. And then we're going to start spamming there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got that. Oh, the bad part? Shoot. Okay, because with this enemy is actually a really bad enemy to showcase Braska's force on. I just realized that. Because this is the enemy that has the HP poison, and we don't get as much percentage unless we're fully healed. So we'll just roll with it, but just know that the percentages would be higher. Okay, so what I'm going to do here with... Alright, I just want to get the turns moving here. So let's keep going. We're going to get to a Braska turn here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I think I am going to swap for the friend Braska. Let's do that. Let's just get the friend Braska in. Okay, so his counters are going to be low, but... let's go ahead and we'll do a Kiraga with the friend Braska just to get him kind of started. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll just do the LD with the friend unit here. Okay. And then we're going to get Kane kind of set up. And then next time Braska comes up, we'll do the force time. Now we're going to be taking the HP poison. So you're going to be missing out a little bit of the effect, but I'll kind of explain what we're missing out on as we go through. Okay. Okay. Unless the HP no, the HP regen, I don't know, would count. We'll see. All right, so what we're going to do with Kane. So this is kind of what you want to do with him if you're going to do this strat. So if you're not actually going to run like a legit fire team, what you do is you give Kane like an Ignis or a oh god, what's her name? The chick from Final Fantasy X that holds the dolls. Lulu. Okay. So you do Lulu or Ignis Call on Kane. Now if you do Lulu, it's just a self enchant. But that's fine because Kane's the main, like, kind of battery here that we're doing, or the main thing that's going to make this thing run. Or if you do Ignis, it's actually a full party fire enchant. So when you do calls, so let's go ahead and do the call here with Kane. When Kane's up in the air, the call will still have effect. And the nice thing is when Kane's up in the air, it's not like subtracting turns out, right? So we're going to do that. And that call's got 3 turns on it. So actually what I should have done LD first, then Ignis, because now I'm losing a turn of Ignis that I just wasted there. Or actually, no, it didn't count down on that. Okay, that's good. All right, and then Kane's going to get up in the air. Okay, so now Kane is raining down fire spears, basically, is what's happening. You see we got weakness damage. So we're getting fire damage every time that happens, right? Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to get to Braska. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I am just going to hop into summon here, just because the enemies are going to start to take turns and get kind of annoying, and I don't want that. So we're going to do that. Penelo's just going to attack through here. I was going to put another call on with Penelo, but I won't since I'm in summon phase right now. I don't want to, like, waste the turns. All right, so let's just do this. All right, we're going to get to Braska. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use Braska's FR. Okay, so the FR is going to do a big heal, big battery. It's going to do big fire damage. And then, like I said, we're going to be in force time here. So let's go ahead and get into force time with Braska. And he pairs up with a Miditelion. Okay. Borrowing Valifor there from Yuna, by the way. Alright, so now we're in force time. So once again, what is going to trigger now is fire damage, okay? So fire damage is going to trigger, and then if the party is, or if the acting party member is healed, I'm going into it, right? So now what I could do here is Braska could do Kiragas, and Kiragas are going to buff a lot. So what I might do is I might get to Braska here. So what I'll do is I'll just attack through with Penelo. Oh, shoot, Kane's going to drop down. That's kind of a pain. That's fine. We'll let Kane fall down. But normally you'd keep Kane up in the air, and then you'd be spamming Braska with Kane up in the air, but that turn order just didn't work. Well, no, I can just get Kane up again. I got to waste a turn, but sure, let's do it. Let's get Kane up again. All right, so Kane still got 1 turn on the call, so I think jumping the call should stick, hopefully. If we're not, that's fine. But we'll get Kane back up in the air. All right. So then Braska here. Yeah, we're still doing weakness damage, so I think we're fine. Alright, so now this is like the full invested Braska, so we'll just use a Kiraga here so you guys can see it. So if we do the Kiraga here, it should be, yeah, 68% we just got on that one Kiraga. Like, pretty big. So we're getting a ton, like, so that's like a full invested Braska can really push up that HP damage, right? Now, unfortunately, I don't have the plus version of the LD, and the friend is about to fizzle out. But let's go ahead and just show off Ultima. So Ultima I haven't really talked about yet, but basically it just gives a generic buff, and it's a party battery attack with an AoE attack. So let's go ahead and just show you guys Ultima here. And this is with the HP damage bonus up. This will do fire damage, which will help push the gauge up. So yeah, we got 28% just for doing that fire attack. And then Kane's up in the air raining the spheres down. So that's basically Braska. So now what I could do here is I could even take like Penelo, and we could do this. Yeah, and she's doing just her big buff, right? A 50, 50 whatever percent, which really, really helps tick the gauge up. So even if Penelo's not doing fire damage, like we're still doing enough to the gauge that like we're just really, really pushing it up, right? So we could do that. We could just go ahead and maybe intercession and then just do really big damage. But basically with Braska, like if he's fully invested, right, his Kiraga is going to push that gauge up a lot. Fire damage from your allies is going to help push it up, and then allies being fully healed. So this gauge isn't going up as much because we would be getting 15% additional added onto it if we were fully healed on that ally's turn. But because we're facing the poison enemy here, we're not really seeing that. But that's pretty much how you use Braska. We'll go ahead and we'll get one more turn with Braska in force time here. And let's see. And we're at 5. So what we'll do is we'll show you a big... Let's do... Oh, no, that was the friend one. Okay, so mine isn't. That's fine. So we'll just go ahead and do a normal EX here to finish it off. But yeah, that's basically Braska. And so depending on what your box needs, like if you like the idea of fire damage, you need a healer, you don't have one yet, he's really good. If you already have, like I said, people like Penelo and Cryo, I think it might be overkill to grab Braska. Like I said, unless you have like a lot of resources like me, like I'm just pulling for everything. But I didn't full invest Braska because I full invested the other ones. But Braska isn't bad by any means. If you build the team right, he can do a very, very good job in hard, difficult content. So anyways, guys, hope this helps. Thanks for watching. We will catch you all on the next one.